Alrighty. So let's play a little bit. Now, nothing that I'm going to do here is going to be anything special. Basically, back here, up here. Come on. Can't get my thumbs under the thing. Come on. No, and I didn't wash my hands. More roughage. Good for the diet. I'm going to play around with some wood here. Now, everything that I'm starting to play around with here and do is all on YouTube. That's where I found it. It's just that it kind of caught my eye, and I said, I want to try it. And I said, I'm looking for something to do for the summer, for the winter, so why not? Right? So basically, that's where I'm getting all this from. So they're nothing to do as far as my ideas. Just something I see on the net, I want to try it. I get a little, oh wait, I can use this. Now the only thing here is, I haven't got the little cutter. They have a little cutter. It's a little chop cutter. Now I could probably make one. It looks like a little paper cutter. But it cuts more in the middle. And it has a little slide on it with some measurements. And it takes a single edge blade. And it's for cutting these little pieces and leaving you nice clean edges. So, it makes it a little bit easier, let's put it that way. This is going to make this easy. I think that's going to be I think that's going to be wide enough for what I'm looking to accomplish right now. I'm just looking to try it. Sorry guys. So, like that waterfall thing that I did. I got that idea watching YouTube. There's all different ways of doing it. I happen to have seen that piece of wood and it just caught my eye. You know, as being a nice little piece to make a waterfall out of. So I started using the resin and things. They use a little bit different sometimes. They use stuff that, see, I was trying to use things I had around the yard, around the house, and the yard, and here in the shop. You know, for somebody that may want to get into it, giving them an idea how they can get into it without spending a lot of money. Because you could spend a lot, you can spend a little, or you can spend almost nothing. But it's going to cost you something somewhere, but you can always work around it somehow. And that's where that little waterfall thing came in. Now they have a little chopper. It's on a piece of wood, a little bit bigger than this, and it has a little handle on it, and it takes your blade and it brings it down, and you can put your measurements on it and it cuts. But it's done with more of a precision cutting because everything has a measurement. You know, you're not just cutting at random. So I got to try to figure out what to do with that. But what I've seen was a water model, or whatever it is you want to call it. And it wasn't a waterfall, it was a pond. And the guy who made this made a little dock with a little plastic person that you can buy sitting at the end of the dock fishing. I said, that dock is kind of cute. I like that. I'm going to see. Now it's harder to make when you haven't got the tools to cut it with. To get more of a precise measurement, and I'm going back and forth here. Hold on, let me get a better piece. I used that for glue. I use this for some type of a measurement. I can probably make that little table. I'm going to have to check to see how much the cutter goes for. Like I said, it looks like a little paper cutter, but it makes it a lot easier. So let's say 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, 4 inch. Now I'm not going to be using 5 or 4. I'm going to be using 1 inch. That noise is driving me nuts. What is it?
The new action edition because of the tongue.
Somebody's trying to talk into the repeater and they're not hitting it clearly, and the repeater only hears and gives what it hears. Now sometimes it'll juice it up a little bit and give you a better signal. That's what gives you the distance, but you have to hit it. So, if I were to take this and put it here and cut 1 inch. See, this is where it's going to get a little pain in the ass and time consuming. Because I haven't got the right tool for it. So it may be easier for me to just put them on there at random. Yeah, I bet you. And then I can just trim them all off at once. Almost like when you're doing a deck or something, you know, you get it out there and then you just, it makes it a lot easier than to try to cut everything at the same, one at a time. Cut them all at once. So, let's put a little glue on this piece of crap over here. This is Mod Podge. I'm not sure on the finish. Doesn't make a difference anyway at this point. But I think it's a matte finish. So, meanwhile, back at the ranch, I got a phone call the other day from the Coast Guard Communications, and actually, if this doesn't look straight, it may be even better looking. And they want to meet up because they want me to take over the communications for 2401. Now, I says that she wanted me to say yes over the phone. I said, no, it's not going to happen. I want to sit down with somebody that's going to be able to explain to me and show me what has to be done. Because there's also a lot of forms involved. And if the forms aren't right, the government forms, you're going to have problems. They're going to keep rejecting them. Well, I want to know more about the forms and how all this stuff works. I'm not just going to jump into this. You know, it's okay to say yes. I'm not saying I'm not going to say yes or no at this point. But if I can't do it and do it right, I don't want to take it on. And to take something on just to have a title is not the reason. I can care less about title. I could probably use this one. It's a little crooked, but we'll see what happens. There. So, I wonder if I can cut them with these any quicker. May not be the best cut in the world, but let's see. Seems to be okay. Now, I should have planned this out a little better. Meaning I should have figured, excuse me, the width so that I can get 3 cuts out of this. So it tells me right off the bat that I got to remember to think ahead a little bit so I'm not wasting material. Because I guess it can, well, no guesses about it, it will get expensive. If you start screwing up with expensive stuff. I mean, these little pieces here, I think there was like 1,000 of them in a pack for $4 or $5. I don't remember. So this isn't an expensive product that if I screw up, I'm not wasting a lot. I'm not wasting a lot of money. I'd rather have something though that would dry a little faster. I think what might be a good idea, again, this is where you pick up your learning experiences. Maybe the first 2 or 3, I should have used the glue gun. Because that would have stabled them for me. Because when I'm laying them in, I'm trying to push them into one another. And because the podge isn't drying, it's all moving at once. So the first couple, 2 or 3 runs may have been better if it was done with the glue gun. Oop, come here. Now, where a lot of this, I noticed that they do this is A lot of them do it just to do the landscaping, which is nice. I think, you know, I mean, in my case, that's what it'll be. I'm not looking to sell them. I'm not looking to make any money on them. You know, if somebody wants one, I'll give it to them. You know, I'm not going to ship it to anybody. So, but like I say, if somebody locally, you know, a friend or somebody, I like that, you want it, take it. You know, that's about it. I'm into it more for a winter hobby and relaxing, because it is relaxing. It could be nerve-wracking too, but for the most part it's relaxing. But I find that a lot of them that do railroads, you know, their little train sets, I find that they do a lot of this. And there's a lot of them out there. And the detail that they put into them, you know, especially with the trains, you know, because they have the little people, they have the lights, when the train's approaching the crosswalk, or what do you call it? You know, the gates go down, the horns blow, the little doors on the stations open up. When I say little doors, I'm talking little doors. I mean, we're talking maybe a ½ inch high and a little more than a ¼ inch wide. And we're talking little doors. And they put little hinges on these little doors. So, I mean, they've got patience, but it shows. It's those little details that make it. Now there's one that did this that I was telling you about. When he was done with the pier, not only did he make the pier small, but he drilled little holes in each one of these little sticks, and he put little pieces of copper so that it looks like they were nailed in to the main frame of the dock. I don't know if my hands would do that. I don't know, because, you know, I guess if I had the right tweezers and things. I mean, these are just regular tweezers. The shit they use are, I'm telling you. If you haven't looked up any of this stuff on the net, you ought to take a peek. Model railroad building, landscape, realistic landscaping. There's all kinds of stuff out there. Waterfall. I mean, whatever you want. You know, there's something out there. There was one out there the guy did to where it had a woman on a bicycle. And I'm telling you, if it was an inch tall, that was big. And it actually tracked on a little track that he had put in the street that you really couldn't see because it was within the lines, you know, of the street. So you really couldn't even see it. And she goes pedaling by, you know, check this out. And you, excuse me, you don't realize how small it is when you're seeing it up close. But they're out there. Now I did have an idea, and after I told the wife, gee, I gotta try this. I'm thinking of something here with a waterfall. I'm starting to get a little bit more familiar with this Mod Podge stuff, or whatever you want to call it. I'm familiar with what it does, but the name, I couldn't figure that out. I'll never remember it. Mod Podge, who the hell knows? Anyway, I think I should have made a shorter dock. I said, well, if I want to make a water scene or a waterfall or water coming up on shore, you know, and you want that little splashy wave look, that one is not sitting the same. That's got to go this way. There you go. These are not perfectly square. So you know what? I'm going to go get some toilet paper. And I'm going to see if it'll work like water. So I may have it around here someplace. If not, I'll give you an idea using a tissue. Same thing, just that the toilet paper is a lot cheaper. Yeah, we're getting there. How many more should I? I'll do a couple more. Might as well take it to the end. That static in the background, that's driving me nuts. Somebody tell him that he's not making it. I mean, he doesn't know it unless they tell him. I doubt if he's monitoring his own signal. Few people do that. I'll do it occasionally. Do you hear it? Sounds like a buzzsaw in the background. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, but it seems to be going a little quicker now. Not so much because of me getting better, which I like to think that was the case, but because I have more here, I can put it down and move it in without moving everything down. Because I got a little bit more force working against me. Whoop, whoop, come on, whoop, whoop, sure, open mouth, insert foot, there. I was just listening to the test, and that brought something to mind many, many years ago. You really couldn't eavesdrop, so to speak, you know, or wiretap without a warrant of sort and sufficient reasoning, naturally, because you're invading somebody's privacy at this point. However, you can listen to a scanner and somebody that's talking, if it's going across the airwaves, for most part, you can listen. Well, this is back before cell phones. But we had to check in. We had to find out what was going on in this particular house. And we're not going to be able to get a warrant to tap the phones or anything. So what they did, I'm not going to say who they are, but what they did was they sent this woman, this house, with a woman, a boyfriend, and a son. And for the most part, unfortunately, she was an alcoholic. And like anything else, an alcoholic, alcohol will ruin your life. And you won't even realize it. And then you're going to make enemies of your friends because they're going to try to help you. And you're going to tell them they're full of shit, and that's how that works. But meanwhile, what this one agency did was they sent this woman a cordless phone. Now, it was an older style, but it was a newer phone, you know. It was a brand new phone, and it was a nice looking phone, but it was a little bit older. Not real old, but a little, you know, it was like maybe a year behind its time, if that. All right. Meaning it wasn't running on digital, and it wasn't running on the 800 megahertz. It was running on the lower end of the spectrum. And on that particular lower end of the spectrum, you were able to listen to it on a scanner. So they sent this person a brand new phone, brand new in a package, from a clearinghouse that didn't exist, saying congratulations, no obligation to you, you just won this cordless telephone, state of the art, yeah, congratulations. Well, now you gotta hope they're gonna use it. Now, like I said, because it was back a while, you were able to listen to certain things on the scanner. So if she bites and decides to use this phone, which is what they were praying for, they will be able to just monitor the scanner every time she gets on the phone and hear both sides of the conversation. Now, you're not going to be able to use it in a court of law, but it was okay to listen at the time, and it kind of gave them a heads up as to what might be going on, where, when, if, you know what I mean, that kind of thing. So it kind of helped that way. And I'm not going to tell you all the crap we found out, but this woman did not have a very good life. That doesn't mean that it made it right for what they were doing, but it wasn't. She was molested by her father from the age of from 11 to like 15 or 16. She told her mother a number of times, and the mother said she's full of shit. The mother wouldn't believe her. So it was just one thing after another. Battery's going dead, so I'm not going to be able to finish it. But there was a lot going on. All right, catch you later.